So yesterday I was talking about creating experiences, right? Being aware of the experience that you're delivering with all your systems and how you can make that a better experience for your team, and the power that that can achieve. You know, like the new onboarding experience, etc. Right? But even the applications themselves, how are you working on creating um, better ways and more engaging ways for people to actually just follow the process, right? If you make it easy for people to follow that process, then there's a pretty good chance they'll do that. We see this in System Hubs, we see this in all the different apps we use. But there's one thing I want to talk about, and it's something that has been building and bugging me for so long, and that's ads, right? We're in business, right? So we use advertising to be able to reach our intended market. The problem is that on the internet, ads have got out of hand, right? And I've seen it so many times where productivity and the experience and just generally operating within a business when you're navigating to different sites, etc., is, well, downright noisy, painful, irritating, and wasting bandwidth, wasting your time as all this ad real estate loads. So I want to talk about ad blockers, right? And there's lots of different strategies for doing this. You can use a Raspberry Pi to put on what they call a Pi hole, right? Yeah, just stick the ad in the Pi hole. Um, And the way they work is what they do is they detect known websites and your DNS, etc., and basically says, well, that's delivered via an network. I'm going to send you to a unknown or a our own website rather than the other website. So this is known as DNS hijacking, right? So which is we're sort of poisoning that and we're rewriting the address records with your other location so the ad doesn't load. But there's also ad blockers inside of Google Chrome and inside of Edge and Firefox, and you can even get them on your mobile device. Now, I did this recently with my father, and I was there visiting him, and I happened to glance over at the computer where I was working in the same office as him whilst we were traveling, and there, and I was just happened to glance over at his computer, and I was just shocked at the amount of noise on this particular website he was looking at. It was a general news site. Um, it was just covered in it. It was just like flashing icons and just rubbish. Everything was taking forever to load. I just, well, hang on a minute, Dad. Let's just install an ad blocker. We installed that ad blocker and refreshed the page, and suddenly, what was a page that was taking minutes to load and be readable, and he had to scroll large um, parts of that website, completely disappeared to two paragraphs of content and an image. And he said, wow, this is amazing. Not only did it load in about 10 seconds versus the minute it was taking previously, but there was just all this noise was gone. So, as much as we as business owners want to advertise our businesses, it's got so bad that there are so many of these different advertising that's going on these free sites. And now there's even tools out there to detect ad blockers and try to refuse entry if you won't disable your ad blocker. Well, I'm sorry, I have an ad blocker in place because the advertising industry, especially on the internet, has gone too far. Way, way too far, and you're shouting at me everywhere, and I just can't take it. So do yourself a favor, if you haven't got an ad blocker, go and install one today and encourage all your work colleagues to do the same. Not only is it going to improve the experience for you working and doing your stuff, but it's going to save you time, money, and just bandwidth in your brain, right? Because you don't get all this noise. The last thing is that so many of these ad networks have been poisoned by malware. You know, the nasty stuff that gets onto your computer? Ad blockers actually help block this because the ad networks, especially the bad ones, are actually being hijacked and delivering this bad stuff. So, as much as we would like to say advertising is about sensible communicating and getting your message across, in most cases, unfortunately, people have abused it to the point that the only way I feel safe navigating the internet is with an ad blocker installed. Cannot do that without. So do yourself a favor, go out there, get yourself an ad blocker, install the darn thing today, and get rid of the noise.